Hello, hashtag Listen Fam. It's Kelly Hendricks back with another episode of The Theatre. And with me today, I have Preston from Team Passion. Preston, welcome to hashtag Listen. How are you doing today?
Thank you very much for having me here.
Yes.
I'm good. Just busy again as always, but I'm good.
Yes, and you're not alone today. You brought your team with you. Why don't you introduce them as well?
No problem. There on my far left, it would be Terry, and then next to her is Deshay. Next to Deshay is Kim. Then we have Jaylin, the youngest member of Team Passion, and then we have Francielle.
Great stuff. Yeah.
So the rest of the members are currently at varsity and work. So they came along with me today. Great
stuff. Preston, give me a brief background. I know you've been on hashtag Listen before, but for all of our new followers and subscribers, just give us a little bit of a background of who you are, what you do, who is Team Passion.
Okay, so my name is Augustine Days. We are known as Preston Manaiza.
Yeah.
About Team Passion derived around 2017 when we started hosting our first event, which was called New Generation Invasion Special. And then now we're currently sitting at our 6th annual event.
Sure.
Going into next year for the 7th one.
Yeah, wow. And congratulations on organizing such an outstanding event this year. What does hosting an event like this mean for our province and for Kimberley?
In a nutshell, it's something amazing, to be honest, because everyone basically benefits from this event, and we have people coming from all over South Africa in. And the main reason behind it is because we have service providers from outside Kimberley, your spinners from Cape Town, Johannesburg, all over the country. So when they come, they bring the heat along to the Diamond City.
Sure. And how do you see events like these contributing to our local economy, economic growth, and creating opportunities for small businesses?
Yeah. I can write a chapter about this one. But like I said, I am going to be very much on the nutshell today. For Kimberley itself alone, it's something big. Because by your hospitality places, your garages, your clubs, your car washes, all of those small businesses benefit from, because by guys, they always want to wash their cars before going to this event, or even the nightlife, going to the garage, fueling up before going back. So it's something great for the province, Kimberley itself. Just by having this event, as I said previously, this event actually we had like around 8,000, between 8,000 and 10,000 people. We're still doing our figures, by the way, our after event reports, but we are, it was amazing.
And just speaking of, economic growth, I've noticed that your team is also quite young. Talk to me about that.
Yes, look, from the very first moment of this event, I was basically the only experienced person in Team Passion itself. So from there on, we have been busy with the youth, creating jobs. Instead of, like I told you prior to the interview, instead of bringing in the youngsters or taking a business and giving money to them or creating business opportunities for them, we bring those youngsters off from the streets to come and be part of this team that creates more opportunities for the youth going forward.
Sure. And with an event of this magnitude, partnerships and sponsorships, I can imagine, are crucial. Can you share with us how you go about securing these partnerships?
Well, we have been working with local business over the year, creating that partnership and trusted partnerships with them, and still growing with certain upcoming businesses. Our first priority is to make sure that when we grow as Team Passion, our partners must also grow. Hence we started off with small developed businesses.
Let's talk about your marketing strategy. I know that you've already started organizing your event for next year, right? And you've already started marketing that. What inspired you to start planning and promoting so early?
The reason behind it all is basically what I've learned in life is, especially in this nature of the event. If you gonna take very long to plan your event accordingly, you might fail. Due to the fact that it's very difficult, as much as we have local businesses backing us up as sponsorships. It's something that's contributing towards making sure that we get those youngsters in there, we get our elders in there, we get all those spinners or outside people in there. So it's it's just something that I can't explain right now, but working with them, making sure that those businesses are moving forward with us.
Sure. And something that you don't really see is usually before an event, there's behind the scenes that happen, and then you see a poster of an event. But you've taken to social media to actually share, your entire planning process. What inspired you to involve your audience into the planning like that?
I would say most probably because like I said, for us, for us achieving the figures, the attendance, is simply to make sure that people know there is an event coming on next year on the 26th of July. So we need to get our planning there. We need to go to disaster management. Disaster management is the first priority to make sure that we enhance safety on the event. So we go out there, we start our planning, and then after knowing that we've handled the background planning, which is your disaster management, when that's behind the scene, or then when that's behind us, then we know that now we're waiting for Easter weekend. Normally our event is after Easter weekend. So when Easter weekend hits and it's over and done with, then we start with our advertising, our marketing. But for now, people know 26 July 2025, it's Diamond Generation Invasion Spin Show.
Sure, 100%. Let's talk more about the business side of Team Passion. How do you ensure that your team work well together and deliver such a high caliber event?
Wow. Based on that, normally what we do basically is before we can even start off with a team, we make sure that they are disciplined enough, that they know what they get themselves into, introduce certain things regarding marketing, selling, ticket sales, and all those stuff. So we train them before the event so that they can know what to do before the event and on the day of the event. I believe you equip yourself well with training and education, you will know simply what to do on the day of the event and prior to the event.
So are there any specific systems or strategies that you use to manage your logistics, budgeting, or coordination for the event?
Yes, that's what we basically do. When as I said before, when we handle down our disaster management, then we go into the planning of the event, making sure that we speak to different service providers regarding the event, evaluating them, and then also making sure that we get that over and done with prior to the event. So when we do our marketing, then we know all those logistics. Like now, even we have communicated with spinners for next year. We have communicated with MCs and all other service providers. So coming close to the event, we just focus on advertising the event to make sure that we reach the audience.
You mentioned that you're still working on your post-event report for this year. Can you give us maybe an idea of how many tickets you sold, and how did the turnout compare to what your expectations were?
I believe we sold about 3,000 tickets, which is something that we didn't do the previous year. Last year, I think we sold about 2,000 tickets. And then the nature of the event growing and developing in all aspects of the event is allowing us to go even bigger with our ticket sales. Just off the topic conversation we had yesterday when I went to disaster management, they asked us like, wow, last year you said your attendance might be 1,000, 2,000 people. Now from 2,000 to 5,000. That's just what we're estimating. But it can be bigger.
Can be bigger,
As I said, the event itself is growing every year. And knowing that every year we bring in different spinners, and the tally of the spinners, it's keep on growing. Our service providers, our local DJs, I don't use the term local anymore. I normally say our Diamond City spinners, our Diamond City DJs, artists, and so forth. We incorporate all of those things to make sure that our event grows every year in terms of attendance.
And what take us to the event? What are some of the standout moments or highlights that happened that you'll always remember?
The fact that we went way far our estimated attendance.
Sure.
Seeing actually, the nature of spinning in Kimberley itself. Based on the history of spinning in Kimberley, we have seen that events only get filled up 3 o'clock. Now with this event, you have 9 o'clock, you have people flocking at the gate, waiting for the event to kickstart.
Yeah.
And even though we had electrical issues, the people still flocked in, they wanted to be part of the event. By 1 o'clock, we reached something to half the capacity of the event. And while there were still piles of cars pulling up and so forth.
Sure. What lessons did you learn from this event, and how will you use those lessons to plan for an even bigger event next year?
I would suggest that knowing what our team, it's either we're going to expand our team or some of our team members will have to carry a lot of tasks regarding this event, because there was quite a few negatives that we want to rectify with the next event, such as, for example, get much more toilet marshals to keep the toilets clean during the process of the day. Our parking, the queue that's being formed going into, this year we used Hull Street, so next year we want to use Boshoff Road. Create a different entrance so that people can just have a nice traffic flow, basically.
Sure.
And also just pile up our security.
Yes, 100%. We changed our set a little bit for your interview, so just tell us, what do we have here?
Okay, so I have 2 trophies here, 2 of the 3 floating trophies.
Sure.
This is basically our very first trophy that we neutralized yesterday last year for the event. It's basically an event, a trophy that's sponsored by 102 Auto, local business, Tires and More, and Prince.
Sure.
And carrying, this trophy is actually carrying now 3 names on it. It's the best of show, regarding the show and shine for last year, which is Tahir Fredericks. And then this year we have Panjaro, he was the male spinner of the day. And then we have Kayla all the way from the Diamond City, she was the female spinner of the day.
Sure.
And here we also have the best of show trophy for this year. So we have another trophy, they just busy with it. That will be the sound competition trophy. So that trophy is basically your loudest of the day trophy in terms of sound competition. And this is your floating trophy for your best of show, and this one is for your spinners.
Sure. And what drew you to this type of business?
Look, for me, in all honesty, we want to create a memory lane for the event itself, knowing that 10 years or 20 years from now, we can say, this is what we did. Here's the proof of what we did.
Yeah. Why would you say is it important to showcase that Kimberley can successfully host world-class events organized by local talent?
Look, my passion for spinning is huge. I've been a supporter of spinning before I became a host of spinning. And funny enough, I keep on telling people, and maybe sometimes they don't even believe me. I was a normal person sitting in the crowd cheering for spinners, cheering for the MC, cheering for whoever is entertaining us on the day. And then there was a certain year that spinning it was just down. And I think that was about your early 2016, 2015, there around about. So when spinning went down the lane, I was one of the supporters. Knocking on the doors of the promoters, the well-experienced promoters, asking them, isn't there ways and means that we can make sure that this sport or entertainment industry don't die out on us? Because a lot of people loved it. Like I said, the expression of love is based on the attendance of the event. If they didn't love what they want to see, then I'm sure that they were not going to attend the event. So that's where I want to motivate people to become even more successful in the industry. I know to not have sponsors is very difficult to host, because there's a lot of financial drain on you as the promoter of the event. So if you keep on doing what you love, you will definitely benefit from what it has to become at the end of the day.
And what advice would you give aspiring event organizers who dream of hosting large-scale events in their communities?
I believe passion brought us this far, hence our name is Team Passion. So if you have the passion for it, I'm sure that you will automatically just do what you love doing. If you don't have, it's like anything else. If you don't have passion or love for what you want to do, you're never going to go far with it. But the moment you have the passion and the love for it, you will definitely make sure whether you fail at your first event, like we did 2019, where the event that was a complete type of failure, but it went on. We didn't go and cry and say, hey, you know what, this event we had expenses of 60,000 rand outstanding, and we're gonna now go and relax and rather do something else. We went on, and hence we are where we are now. Failures are part of the journey. You have to create yourself that, how can I pronounce this, but I'm looking for the most perfect word right now. But you just need to inspire yourself, motivate yourself to keep your cool. Even if you fail, you must pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and just move along.
Sure. You mentioned keep your cool. How do you stay cool, calm, and collected during the event, or even in the days leading up to such a huge event?
They would most probably laugh at me right now. Look, if I normally keep my cool at the end of the day, not at the end of the day, but middle time of the day. Because in the morning, when it starts, it normally starts off rough. And then you have to keep your cool in trying to, because if I don't keep my cool, they won't keep their cool, and then they can maybe end up laying on the floor. So in order for me to motivate them, I have to keep my cool.
What's next for Team Passion after such a successful event?
Next up, we have our annual charity initiative, which is next week at the Living Lifestyle. For us, we feel our blessings comes from charity. Charity begins at home. So every year we have 2 charity initiatives. After the event, every year we do a charity initiative whereby we go to 6 different communities, which is your Waterpan, Galeshoe, Homevale, Corval, Greenpoint, and Helen Bishop. And then this time of the year we go back to Waterpan. Team Passion is basically established from Roderpan. So then we go back to Roderpan, we give back to the less fortunate families of Roderpan, whereby we just want to make sure that those less fortunate families have something for Christmas, for New Year's, and for reopening of schools.
That's amazing. Well done on such an amazing initiative. What can our listeners, or what can your audience expect from next year's event? What can they look forward to?
Look, all I'm going to say is diamonds shine forever. And diamonds are forever. So our next event is Diamond Generation Invasion Spin Show, which it was most probably going to be just for Diamond City spinners. But because we are at a level whereby we have some of the best spinners across the countries been hosted at our events. So now we wanted to change the dynamics to Diamond City, to Diamond Generation Invasion Spin Show. We was just going to consist out of Diamond City spinners. But now we're going to open it up for the whole province. But they should know that this is the Diamond City. We sparkle. And we as Kimberley people must know our worth within this event.
How can our listeners follow your journey and stay up to date with your upcoming events?
Firstly, I would say they need to follow #listen. Definitely. Because, sometimes we as promoters and businessmen, we should know where our blessings come from as a business. Sometimes it's not us ourselves, but they are individuals and businesses creating opportunities for us. So my first preferences would be #listen, definitely. And then they can follow Team Passion on Facebook. We also recently advised TikTok. And that's about it.
Thank you very much, Preston, and thank you so much for the support that you are giving to #listen. It is definitely reciprocated from our side as well. What last words or advice can you share to either our young up-and-coming DJs, spinners, people who want to, or who aspire to be part of your events, to be part of your shows?
Look, for me to inspire the next person, I always tell them, be passionate. Be your own competition. If you're going to allow the next person to be your competition, you will be at failure. But if you can be your own competitor and you yourself can win yourself to be who you want to be in
Sure.
life, that's when your moment kickstarts.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Lovely, short and sweet. Thank you for joining us once again. And all the best with the rest of your organizing of the event. We're really looking forward to being there, to seeing it, and obviously wanting it to be bigger and better along with you. So thank you so much for joining me today on the #Listen podcast.
It's been a privilege being here.
Sure.
But before we shut this
Sure.
interview down,
100%.
I would like to say thank you to each and every one that has been supporting Team Passion from the word go. I want to say thank you to each and every business that has been part of our growth.
Sure.
And I also want to say thank you to #Listen for always making sure that they are there for the community. Without
100%.
#Listen, we won't have platforms to
Yes.
create those or exposure of the different talents in the
Yes,
local businesses.
yes.
So thank you to #Listen for having us. All the blessings to #Listen, to the camera crew, to each and every one being part
Sure.
of the team.
Thank you so much. You heard it, fam. Thank you so much to you for watching and supporting this podcast, because without you, we don't exist. So thank you also. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook, and make sure that we spread the word. Team Passion, next year you said 6th of July.
26th of July, yes.
26th of July 2025. You don't want to miss it. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for watching.